The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. All reclamation projects in the Manila Bay have been suspended except for one. That's according to President Bongbong Marcos himself, who bared the news at a situation briefing in Bulacan. The president, though, did not identify that particular project, which was not suspended. Marcos Jr. added that all halted projects are now under review. The Environment Department had earlier said that it is assembling a team of experts to conduct a cumulative impact assessment of all the reclamation projects in Manila Bay.
Maraming problema, marami kaming nakita na hindi masyadong magandang patakbo. But anyway, malaking isa pang malaking problema na kailangan ayusin yan. Kasi yung mga ilog, kung matuloy lahat yan, maraming ilog mababara eh. Yung lumalabas sa Laguna, wala nang pupuntahan talaga yung tubig. Wala na nga yung Rojas Boulevard, wala na yung dagat eh. Mawawala yung dagat.
In line with the president's pronouncements, some senators and one fisherfolk group expressed their support for the suspension of reclamation projects in the Manila Bay. Senator J.V. Ejercito says this move by the president is a welcome development. For Senator Cynthia Villar, this is good news for all residents whose areas are at risk for massive flooding as a result of reclamation activities. Meanwhile, Pamalacaya noted that while they agree with Marcos Jr.'s move, the Department of Environment and Natural Resources should hold accountable those companies involved in the destruction of the environment. Moving on now to some good news for motorists. Emergency road repairs along EDSA are now complete. The entire EDSA busway is now open after the one-time big-time repairs that started last Friday. According to the MMDA, 20 areas of the busway were fixed. Construction was supposed to finish by 5 a.m. today, but was delayed for 2 hours. The MMDA believes that its traffic management plan was effective in averting heavy traffic for the duration of the 5-day repairs. The agency is now considering this as a potential template for future traffic management whenever repair projects are happening along EDSA. We have more stories for you after this quick break. Stay with us here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The Finance Department says that the Implementing Rules and Regulations, or IRR, of the Maharlika Investment Fund will be completed by mid-August. On the big story, Finance Secretary Ben Diokno said the latest possible release of the IRR would be the end of the month. Some 80 billion pesos has also been prepared for the initial funding of the MIF. Diokno says the money will be transferred to the investment fund once the IRR is released. 2 full-time board directors and 3 independent directors will be appointed for the MIF. They will join Diokno, who as finance chief will serve as the ex-officio chairman, as well as the presidents and CEOs of Land Bank and the Development Bank of the Philippines, or DBP.
We will not use the 90 days. We expect to issue the implementing rules and regulations maybe mid-August or at the latest about end of August. On the funds, the central bank has already remitted to the national government some 31.2 billion pesos. And the Land Bank also has already authorized the remittance of another 50. So that's easily around 80 billion already in.
In other news, at least 6 cops in Navotas City are now behind bars after the fatal shooting of a teenager who was mistaken for a murder suspect. Brian Basa reports.
It was like Michelangelo's La Pieta all over again, but now it's the father grieving for his dead son. This tragic scene from August 2nd comes minutes after the body of Jemboy Baltazar was recovered from a river in Navotas City. Eyewitnesses say Jemboy and a friend were cleaning a boat when city cops arrived and fired shots at them. Jemboy dove in the water, but he was only peppered with bullets all the more. 6 policemen gunned the boy to death, only to find out later that they got the wrong guy. The person they were pursuing is a murder suspect at large who was involved in a shooting incident earlier that day.
Napagkamalan nga ako na nandun yung target nila. Sabi ko nga, dapat tinawag nyo lang hindi kayo nag-warning shot. Warning shot, tama sa ulo.
Jemboy's father is dismayed that the cops stopped him from retrieving his son from the river.
Hindi ko pinalapit na bangka. Sabi nila, daw lumangoy. Ano lalangoy yun kung may tama ka na? Maaga pa lang, antimano kung natalong ko yun, sana bay pa yung anak ko.
Now the family thinks that law enforcers were trying to cover up the shooting.
Gusto nila ilayo yung krimen. Basta natangin na naagos, nagabi doon. Kagulo na lang nung makita ko yung bangkay, nung makakuha ko. Kaya nag-expose huli yung pangyayari.
Thousands of miles away from Manila, the victim's mother, a Filipino worker in Qatar, is full of grief and pain. Rhoda wants to see her son, but she couldn't because of financial problems.
Sakit po kasi nakikita ko siya sa cellphone. Oo nga, pero hindi ko siya mahawakan, hindi ko mayakap. Yung ipapadala ko, hindi ko alam, para sa kamatayan niya na pala yun. Okay lang, gusto ko nang bumawi dahil nagkulang nga ako sa kanya ng matagal. Wala na, magsisiman ako, huli na.
Meanwhile, Navotas City Police Chief Colonel Alan Umipig admits his men's errors. He knows he should have not fired the shots.
Lapses lang po. Lapse in judgment po, wala pong self-defense dyan dahil hindi naman po napatunayan na lumalaban yung isang biktima.
The 6 cops involved in the incident have been disarmed and charged with reckless imprudence resulting in homicide. They're also facing administrative charges while in detention. The PNP meanwhile rules the incident as a case of mistaken identity. For News 5, I'm Brian Basa and we are One News.
Let's now take a quick look at today's other top stories. Here's some relief for Meralco customers this month as the power distributor slashed electricity rates for the month of August. Meralco announced that it is cutting power rates, this time by 29 centavos per kilowatt hour. What this means is that households consuming 200 kilowatts per hour a month will see a 58 peso reduction in their monthly bills, while those who consume 500 kilowatt hours monthly will be paying 145 pesos less. One suspect was arrested for large-scale cybercrime estafa after posing as a government liaison coordinator for the Transportation Department. The suspect claims that he could facilitate the processing of LTO licensing and registration of a motor vehicle for a franchising business and asked for 405,000 pesos in processing fees. The Supreme Court has nullified the proclamation of Romeo Halosos Jr. as Zamboanga del Norte's 1st District Congressman. Voting 12-2, the High Court ruled in favor of Halosos' rival, Roberto Oy Jr., more than 1 year after the COMELEC proclaimed Halosos Jr. as the winning candidate in the 2022 elections. One News Now will be back at 6 p.m. with the day's latest stories. I'm Sean Yao. We are One News.